This episode of Legacy Curious is brought to you by Legacy Protectors. Customize insurance strategies for business owners and families who aspire to create a lasting legacy. Hello there, and welcome to Legacy Curious, the show where we explore what it really means to protect, grow, and pass on everything you've worked so hard to build. I'm your host, David Gravelle. I'm a life insurance strategist, business legacy coach, and founder of Legacy Protectors. Each episode, I sit down with the bold thinkers, entrepreneurs, and everyday visionaries who are turning their values into lasting impact in business, in life, and across generations. This episode's guest is Kimberly Vega. She's the founder of a business that was born from pain and purpose, a space created not just to sell products, but to spark healing, empowerment, and real transformation. After walking through her own chapters of struggles, soul work, and self-discovery, she realized something powerful. Caring for your body is an act of honoring your soul. And that's what her brand is built on. From holistic wellness supplements and intentional self-care products to soulful services and raw conversations. Everything she offered is rooted in truth, resilience, and love. This isn't just a brand, it's a movement, a reminder that you can rise from anything, that your story matters, and that you're worthy of deep care inside and out. She's here to help you reconnect with your power, your voice, and your light. One ritual, one product, one movement at a time. Well, hello, Kimberly, and welcome to the show. How are you today?
Doing great, David. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thanks for joining us here. And I want to get to know you a little bit before I jump into, some of the things that you do for a living and the reason why I thought you'd be a great guest for us. And so tell our audience where you were born and what it was like to grow up in Ohio, I believe it is, right?
Yep. I was born and raised in Springfield, Ohio. It's kind of a mediocre town in the middle. It's not too overly populated at the time and not underpopulated. It has a little country, little city life to it.
Yeah. And was there a major industry there? Or kind of think of Springfield, they didn't have a nuclear plant, right? Right?
No.
No mill. Okay. And tell us about being a young person. What were some of the things that you were interested in? Was it sports or the arts or music?
I absolutely gravitated towards music. I loved music as a kid. I also, growing up in school, did H2O, which was Help to Others, as a mediation group that kids could come and talk to before we go to the grown-ups to have those conversations to see if we could resolve the issue on our level. But music was my primary passion.
And how did you get involved in that? Was that something that you sought out, or did someone ask you to be part of that?
For H2O?
Yes.
The school started a program because they were doing studies there and they realized that sometimes a lot of the bullying and the problems that actually existed in the school was because people didn't really want to go to a teacher or a counselor to have those conversations. So they thought they would try to have people volunteer to see if they would want to be a part of this H2O. And I was like, you know what, why not? I like helping people. So let me see if I have this ability. So they put us through a little training. And anytime a student has an issue, they could put a little note in a box and the teachers would pull it out and call all of us together so that we could sit down and have our little group meetings around the table.
Okay. So that was kind of the first time that you were, let's say, providing some type of support or counseling to others, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and you found that you liked that, you enjoyed that, it sounds like.
Yeah, actually, I was very grateful because I got recognized because I was able to resolve more of the problems than a lot of my other peers. And it made me feel really good that I was actually a good listener and able to apply it and help people.
Well, good. Well, thanks on behalf of the community for doing that. I think lots of times people that are in those roles don't get enough thank yous. And, it's another reason why I like to do this is really like to acknowledge when there are people that are providing support to the community because it's so important. We all need it at some time in our lives. And the more people that are out there giving it, I think we all benefit from that. Now, tell me a bit about your music career as a young person.
I started playing violin when I was like fourth or fifth grade. They had a thing come up in school where they had guitar and I think like flute and clarinet. Violin was on there, and I remember I was like, out of all these instruments that we have an option for, I felt very drawn to the violin. The sound of it just really resonates with me. It's very peaceful, very calming, and it's so like universal. You can put it in so many different things and different songs, and it sounds phenomenal.
Yeah. So you're still active today? Is that something that you play still today?
Yeah, actually, during COVID, I got a lot better. I
Okay.
actually took on some coaching classes
Yep.
and learned to take it in a different avenue outside of just the standard classical music. I learned how to do trap violin, and I found it to be like, I don't know, it was so much fun. And it's kind of like my passion, but it's one of the things I like to keep for just myself,
Sure.
something for
So it's
me.
therapeutic then for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good. Well, I think that gets us into the conversation around what you do in your day job. And so, when we first met, you told me about Reiki, and I wanted to have you on here so that you could share that with our audience. So, tell us how you first came to be exposed to that, and why you thought it was something that you wanted to continue to pursue full time and help others with. And maybe tell us a bit about it as well, what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Reiki, I stumbled into it. I'm an Army veteran, and so with me being in the Army, I've been through certain situations that gave me PTSD, anxiety, depression, and I went to counseling and therapy, and while it was helpful in some ways, I was still feeling very disconnected from myself in some capacity. And my friends were like, "You should come with us and try this out for something different." And I was like, "Okay, sure." I mean, at this point, I'm looking to really heal and reconnect with myself, so let's give it a go. And I attended my first Reiki session, followed by a sound session, and I felt so relaxed and so at ease and so connected. I was like, this is, I never expected this. And it was so phenomenal and it was so beautiful to me. And my therapist started to see a difference in me like, oh my God, you're becoming more bubbly and more happy and you're opening up so much more. And I was like, yeah, I found Reiki and sound. Like these things have been really like phenomenal to me. And just to give you a brief background on what Reiki is, it's universal life energy. It's a Japanese method that's used for aligning our energy internal to our body. And it's been around for about over 2,000 years.
Great. So I didn't want to gloss over your service. So let's maybe back up a bit and talk about, now with that context, before you had Reiki, tell us how you got involved in the military. And, again, as much as you want to share, because I know that sometimes it's difficult for veterans to talk about it, but, tell us how you got involved in that and what your experience was like. And then maybe now reflecting back, some of the lessons you learned.
Yeah, so I joined the army because I was actually in a really bad relationship in high school. It was very toxic. Trying to keep it very high level for you here, so because I'm not sure what needs to be filtered without getting too raw. But it was a really bad situation, and at one point, my life flashed before my eyes, and I knew that I had to make a decision to either stay here and try to fight through this, or I was going to have to leave, and I didn't know which way to go. And then I happened to see a commercial or hear a commercial on the radio that talked about be all you can be in the army. And I was like, maybe I need to do this to escape. So I went into the recruiting station. My first one I went to was the Marine Corps, but they wouldn't accept me because I had dextroscoliosis. And I went in, I was like, okay, well, fine. So I went into the Army office and they were like, you know what? We can write a waiver for that. Come on board. I was like, great. And so then I left to join that. And I'll tell you, it was probably one of the scariest things I'd ever done when they first get on that bus and start screaming at you to get off and stand in alphabetical order and you can't even talk to the person to your left or your right. But it definitely taught me a lot about like resilience. It taught me a lot about like determination, strength that I didn't even realize I had at that moment. It was a very, very pivotal point for me in my life.
Yeah, it sounds like it still to this day might be, paying some benefits in the way that you approach life. And so is it an experience you'd recommend, or are you someone that would continue to, seek maybe new opportunities or encourage others to sign up?
Well, I guess, ooh, it's tough. Part of me would say yes, I would recommend it to anybody that, needs to do some work that maybe you can't do it on your own. But at the same time, I have noticed that there's been a shift in how the military functions, and it's not the same way it was when I was in, just as it was not the same way it was for, my predecessors before
Right.
me. So I guess it just depends on where you are in your moment in your situation if you really feel you need that extra oomph to help push you through it. But it does give you a lot of different perks as far as like your um, the GI Bill is something that they give you, different things to pay for college and things that happen outside the military. But it does come with some long-term effects of PTSD and different things depending on where you are.
And is there, a network of people that you served with that you still are in touch with? I hear that regularly, that there, years later, people get together and, support each other. Is that something that's, happened for you?
Yeah, I actually still stay in touch with a few of my fellow comrades. But it's fun anytime I attend a veteran event and just being able to instantly have that connection, that camaraderie that we have been trained with, it never fades. And I'm actually a part of a military sorority of other women who have served or are currently serving, and we give back to the community and helping other veterans as well.
You want to promote that or share that today? Are you looking for new members? You want to do some membership recruiting?
Oh, I mean, yeah, they're always going to be bringing
Yeah.
people. About twice a year, we have like a crossing, but it's called Alpha Mu Beta Military Sorority Incorporated. And I honestly feel like this one just started not very long ago, so it's still very new. I feel like they were built for me. So many things, the symbolisms, the colors, different things about it, and to be around women, like-minded women who are supporting each other, and we're all veterans. It's
Right.
phenomenal community.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. Okay, and so if anybody's watching and want to get involved, we'll make sure we put some contact information in the details. Um, so it sounds like through that experience, there was some struggles that may have given you some tools to tackle some new challenges in your life. And is that what led you to be an entrepreneur, or when did you decide that you wanted to make your own business and lead the people that you serve in that way?
Well, I guess you can say for a long time, I always knew I was different. I always knew I wanted to have my own thing and be my own boss and figure something out on my own. But I did work in a federal building for a little while, and that was my breaking point. Once I got to see some of the things that happened behind closed doors and how things operated, it really took a toll on my moral compass. And I was like, you know what? At this point, I have to choose: is it stay here, or do I leave and start this journey? And I made the choice for me, and I chose my mental well-being over everything.
Okay, and you talked a bit earlier about the Reiki and what it meant to you. And so, what was it about your experience with that kind of convinced you that you wanted to share that with others and to make your business? And we're going to have you tell us the name of it. I'm going to call it properly, I hope, the Zenith Soul. And so, tell us about that.
So I guess the first session, the Army had programmed me to not be emotional, to show no emotion for so long. And so it kind of became a part of who I was, very robotic in some sense, right? So when I did Reiki for the first time, it was really weird as I was feeling some of the warm, tingly sensations going through my body during that session. All of a sudden, I felt this urge to cry. And I was like, why? What is happening to me? But those were traumas and pains that I have been holding on to for so long, finally having that freedom to, I guess, release itself, and I thought it was a beautiful experience because it's quite the opposite. In today's society, we're very programmed to not show emotion still, or if you cry, you're weak. But I realized that's strength. And it kind of really started to connect me. And this whole flow happening in my body afterwards, and my mindset began to shift after having that huge release of everything I've been holding on to. And I thought it was such a beautiful experience that I was like, I need to learn how to do this so that I can help people, because we hold on to so many things and we don't realize how that impacts our bodies.
Right, right. There is baggage that we may be unaware of until we actually address it. And I'm an easy cry. I cry at commercials, and so it's expressing emotion has never been difficult for me. Suppressing it has been the hard part. That's a challenge for me, is to not be emotional. And so how do people find you as a client, or as a counselor? How would they engage with you? What does it look like for someone who may be considering learning more about Reiki and wants to get involved with you and what you're doing?
Let me absolutely on my website, which is zenithsoulreiki.com. I have not just my clothing there, but there's a section specifically for appointments, and I do a free consultation for people who want to ask questions and just feel it out and have a better understanding. So there's always a free consultation. I have a Reiki session. I do virtual or in person if they're in the DMV area. And the sound sessions are virtually or in person as well. Or I do what I call a Reiki sound fusion, where we'll do Reiki followed by sound, or sometimes sound followed by Reiki. Just depends on what the energy vibe is when we have our consultation.
Okay, and is it in person then, or is it? Can you do them over Zoom? What's available to your client?
I do it over Zoom and in person.
Okay,
So
yeah, and so tell us a bit about the sound now. And that's kind of new to me too. How does that work, and what's that based on?
oh, it is beautiful. So you know how you find a song that you can either make you really
Yeah.
happy or really sad? Those all have underlying hurts that are there for a reason, right? And so with sound, I studied at the Institute of Conscious Evolution, and we really focus on the brain and some of the brainwave patterns that come in. And we realized during our researches and our studies, we learned that, oh, okay, these are the natural wave patterns, but most people don't have them because of trauma, stress, all these different things in their lives that affect those. And we realized that playing certain sounds actually knocked those waves back into the alignment that they're supposed to be and the pattern that they have.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Well, we're going to have a session on that because I am definitely a tuning fork for sound. Like it's something that can change my emotion almost instantly when I hear, like you said, the right song. And it could be a dance song, it could be an upbeat, and all of a sudden I'm in a great mood, or it could be a sad song, and I'm just so easily influenced by music. So I'm looking forward to getting together and talking more about that offline. So tell us a bit about your clothing line because I've been on your website and I've looked at your designs and I wanted to say they're beautiful first off, and second, kind of tell us a bit about them and where you get your inspiration and why you did it.
Yeah, so with Reiki and sound, I learned that I was having to educate a lot of people first, right? Tell them what it is, and kind of coined the term like a massage for your mind and soul. In the meantime, I was like, well, while I'm waiting for the clientele to come in and people curious to ask questions or even experience it, what is something else I can do for residual? I'm all for creating multiple streams of income and figuring different ways out. And so I was like, what else could I do? And I started taking like my belief systems with the zodiac systems, which has got the Rep Your Zodiac line, the chakras, kind of what I thought my visions would be for that. And I do Pilates. So I thought, when I go to class, like, why not wear something that I feel fun and empowering for me and feels good? And so I started creating the designs that you see on my website.
Yeah, those are fantastic. So, I mean, maybe give us a peek inside the artist studio. What kind of tools do you use? It is a digital creation, and then it's silk screen, and or tell us how you transfer the images, how you create them and transfer them.
So the images are done through sublimation on the clothing.
Okay.
So the materials are a little bit different just because sublimation actually is like dyeing into the material versus like DTF and things that sit on top.
Okay.
So it's a good for extreme amount of washes. And I figured if I was going to create like leggings, sports bras, hoodies, Those are going to be worn a lot and sweated in
Need
and
to be
need to be
washed a
washed.
lot.
So I wanted
Right.
durability.
Sure.
So I really enjoyed doing that. And I'm trying to think, what was your other part of the question?
Yeah, just again, what's your design process like?
Oh,
Because I can see that some of them lots of florals, right? And so, where do you get your inspiration from?
my vision
Yeah.
of what the zodiacs are. I love space. I'm a huge space geek. So space, I love florals. Florals are very calming in the line of work that I do.
Mhm.
But I utilize, believe it or not, I use AI. So I utilize the AI tools that are available out there, and then I start writing a little prompt in there of what I feel I want it to look like until, don't get me wrong, I've had to regenerate several times for this thing to
I
interpret
agree. Right.
it.
It's still early days for AI art. We're still on the cusp of what's possible. So it does take some work. Yeah, I can agree. Okay, and so our viewers can visit your website. Tell us the website again. You've got your catalog on there, right?
Yep, it's dennissoulreiki.com.
All right, and they're able to order right from your website, drop ship to their house. Is that
Yep.
correct? Yeah, lots of different sizes I can see, and they can just how long does it take an order to show up if they were to order something today? When would they expect it?
I say anywhere from 5 to 8 days,
Okay,
depending on the manufacturer of the item that you're ordering, because they are made to order every single
okay,
order.
great. All right. All right. So now we're going to get closer to our $1 million question around here on the legacy that you're building. So just before I ask that question, what kind of, what does success look like for you in your current, your um, Zen soul business? What would success look like?
Well, success to me is being able to see people smile and feel good after their session. Like to me, that is the most rewarding piece in what I do. Watching when they come in overstressed, overworked, anxiety to the roof, to be able to watch them sit up and be like, oh my God, thank you. This just feels so much better. That feels like the best thing in the world to me.
Yeah, great. Okay, so tell us a bit about what you want to be remembered for, what the legacy that you hope you leave behind.
Oh, okay. All right. It's a little lengthy, but I love this. Long story short, I want my heart to be remembered for its warmth, its courage, and willingness to keep giving even when it was hard.
Okay, great. Well, you can have a long story here too. That's that's okay. So, I can tell through your work that, you're on the path to that. What would the future bring? Is there some more work that you want to get done, or is there, any new things that you're working on that you want to, kind of tease us with today?
Oh, yeah. So I actually have a local event that I'm hosting for the first time ever here in the DMV area. To be in Woodbridge on the 22nd of August. And I'm calling it Soulful. And this way, I'm going to have a variety of things there that are going to help people in different aspects of their journey, right? Some are physical and some are spiritual. So I'll have a variety of people with Pilates. We have subconscious reprogramming, Reiki, sound, breath work, meditation. There's going to be a fun thing there. And as far as my clothing goes, I'm actually working on Rep Your Angel number because I feel like the universe sends us little universal text messages, and we're always seeing sometimes the same number reappear and not really understanding what those meanings are. So, but for some of us that do, we love to wear those numbers and really embrace it. So I'm creating a clothing line for that as well.
Okay, great. Well, we'll put more information in the description, so viewer, just check that out. And if you're in the area of DMV, where's that? Dallas Metro? No, what is it?
No, I'm sorry, saying DMV like everybody's local. So yeah, it's DC, Maryland, Virginia.
Okay, there you go. So if you're near DC, Maryland, Virginia, and what kind of time frame is it in the next month? Do we have dates yet for this event?
The event is August 22nd.
Okay, August 22nd. Okay, viewer, get out to the area and attend the event. And I want to thank you again, Kim, for being our guest today. It was wonderful to get to know you and to hear your story. And thanks for sharing And we'll look forward maybe to having you back on and giving us some maybe Reiki techniques that we can try ourselves. How's that?
Sounds great. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you to our listeners and audience for spending time with us today on Legacy Curious. I hope this conversation gave you some insight, encouragement, or just that little spark you needed to keep you moving forward in your own legacy journey. If you got value from today's episode, please take a second to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone else who's building something that matters. And if you're ready to take that next step, protecting your business, planning for retirement, or passing on your legacy with purpose, head to legacyprotectors.life to schedule a conversation. Until next time, I'm your host, David Gravelle, reminding you to stay curious, stay committed, and keep building something worth passing on.